latest look at Fable has been received pretty poorly by gamers. Sure, some are saying we've won because you don't have to play as the masculine, ugly character we saw in the teasers and trailers, and you can customize a new character to a certain extent, but at the same time, there are some glaringly obvious problems with this title that point to it being modern audience slop, and it is getting wrecked online for these issues. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, I love to be hopeful. I love to be optimistic about upcoming experiences, but in no way, shape, or form does the new Fable seem like Fable, at least to me and many other people, and there are some glaringly obvious problems, like the way that the male characters walk, like some of the character customizations that are in this game, NPCs, and in my opinion, what sounds to be AI voice acting. They've boasted about how there's over 1,000 voiced NPCs. There's no possible way, at least from what I have heard, that these are human beings. They sound so stiff, so robotic, really bad quality. And while this game does visually look pretty good, I don't think that that is enough to carry an experience anymore. There are plenty of games that have released over the years that look really solid. And part of what is funny is people are comparing games from like 2013 to 2026 Fable. And yes, again, the new Fable game does visually look pretty good, but it's not some groundbreaking, revolutionary art style or visuals. It looks like so many other games that have released recently. In my opinion, Fable looks like Avowed. I don't know if it is the UI color because it's that like teal, seafoam greenish color. I don't know if it's just the way that the HUD is set up. To me, this game screams Avowed, and I didn't like Avowed. A lot of people clearly didn't like Avowed. It did not take off the way that Microsoft anticipated. But either way, we're not talking about something here that is being received extremely positively. Now, when you watch this teaser slash this showcase, you can tell a few glaring problems that we have experienced. Now, the character creator slash customization system is, in my opinion, a red flag because they are basically describing a set of characters you can choose from to play, but that there's not going to be in-depth character creation. Maybe they plan to flesh it out, maybe they just didn't describe it well, but it sounds to me that it was rushed. And I am of the belief that you initially were going to play as this set protagonist, but because everybody hated her so much, they decided to add in a create a character system because they didn't want to face any more backlash, because they never had highlighted another character in the teasers and trailers up until this point. It was only that female. And if you really start paying attention to small details like the walking animation, it looks very feminine. It does not seem manly at all whatsoever. And I think that this is one of two things. Either they basically slapped this male skin over this existing character, and it's just the walking animation they originally intended to be in the game, and they haven't made a male one yet, or it's just going to stay this way, and this is 100% intentional because they want to feminize men. Unfortunately, in entertainment, men are not allowed to be men anymore. They're not allowed to have any masculine traits, and it's like they want to back you into a corner to play as the strong, stunning, and brave female that they initially intended the game to be played as, because they don't actually care about men and don't respect men. I mean, even the guys that are on this development team seem a little bit too soy to me. Again, maybe you think that it was always their intention to have a character creator. You're allowed to have that opinion. I do not believe it, though. And there are people saying things like they didn't forget that's exactly how these male feminists walk on the work floor over there, and it's true. And the strong brown woman who checks the protagonist out walks like a man. It's very interesting that most of the characters with some sort of position of power in this game, like blacksmiths, for example, are women, and generally women of color that were highlighted in this trailer. And there was even a homeless man who looked like Joe Dirt, but that has drawn a lot of backlash as well, because it seems very intentional. And there are going to be people out there who say, oh, you're overreacting. You're just looking for a reason to attack this game. It's not my fault that there have been these patterns in the video game industry for over a decade now. And when I see this pattern playing out, I am going to call it out. I would rather criticize and call out and be weary and be wrong at the end of the day than let it slide until the point where the game comes out and it's a pile of trash and everybody bought it and they were scammed out of their money. Here's another post criticizing the fact that the frame rate seems extremely unstable, which I agree with. I complained about this several times throughout the event, that it looked like it was 30 FPS and that it was dropping. This is just not the state that you should be highlighting and showing off a game in my opinion. But they say that our male character has a fairly feminine walk, which you can see below, and while I'm happy to know we can choose whichever sex, I do have an expectation of a more masculine hero strut, and this misses the mark for me. Yeah, I really hope that they go back to the drawing board and they work on this, but we are talking about modern day Microsoft developers here. They have guidelines they have to follow, like, is your woman as strong as your male character? Are you providing enough diversity to experience all of these ridiculous things? Here's another post. I just watched the Fable trailer and I'm left wondering if there's any canonical reason why people are apparently going extinct in medieval times. Maybe Xbox heard Dark Age and completely misunderstood what it meant. This looks ridiculous and this fad needs to die out. Yeah, I don't have a problem with you adding a diverse character here and a diverse character there. It's fine if you want to have a story surrounding a certain group of people within your fantasy world, but at the same time, we are talking about over representation here, to the point where people groan and sigh and roll their eyes because we can clearly tell you are doing too much. You are not introducing inclusivity and diversity naturally. You are doing it because you are going down a checklist, and people are going to call you out on that every single time. Fable is looking exactly as expected from a modern Western AAA, and yeah, even putting race aside, none of these characters look appealing. None of the costumes look cool. None of their faces look cool. The facial animations were very, very bad. And we're just talking about problem after problem after problem here. Fable just saved their whole game's reputation by getting rid of this woman as the main character and letting you create your own. And I do agree that it does help them a lot. I'm not saying that this game looks like the worst title ever, but there are a lot of problems. And having you be able to create your own character or have these different presets is still good, but it seems that that wasn't their initial intention and that they wanted you to play as this Uggo right here. I'll definitely be keeping a close eye on this. I will be talking more about Fable in the future, but yeah, the initial reactions are not extremely positive. There's a lot of criticisms being levied at this game, and while I do think it is a long ways away and they still could change quite a bit about the experience, we'll have to see if they truly do continue to listen to their potential customers. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.